Welcome, Aquarius, to your in-depth monthly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for April 2026 for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. I'm going to share with you first of all the big themes of the month, then on screen your event chart at the beginning of April, unpack that. It's always influential as a backdrop. I'll then go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of relationships, energy, work, and finance. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. So this is a month when your ideas and the way you convey them are going to be incredibly powerful. We're also going to see your modern ruler of Uranus enter a new home for 7 years. But it's a home which works so much better for you. And that can bring some real sparkle and uplift to the final week. But on the screen now, Aquarius, is your event chart. And I want to draw your attention to Pluto. Now, Pluto's up to 5 degrees 12, but it's in a perfect alliance with your traditional ruler of Saturn. Something's transforming in your life. You can feel it. You may feel very passionate and committed to something. You may feel you want to release something that's no longer serving your greater good. But the way that that's articulated and shared out to others is going to be in a way all through this month where people are in no doubt at all about your intent. So you have a chance to show tremendous authority. It doesn't mean to say you have to be harsh. It just means you need to be sincere, and people are going to feel that. Now, we always need to be mindful of the sun and the moon, the two luminaries. The sun has now moved into the second decan of Aries, which is sub-ruled by the sun too. So that gives it extra potency. It's in the third house, which is about sharing ideas. But in the sign of Aries, it's about passion. So whatever excites you about your ideas, or even your social interactions, are just going to take on that much more resonance. However, the moon is in the deep eighth house in the practical Virgo, but it does forge an intriguing link with your modern ruler of Uranus. I feel that there could be a revelation that's going to come this month. It may be linked to a sibling. The third house is very much to do with that, or a neighbor, or something to do with your community. But it can shine a light on something that has held darkness in the past. So I think that's very intriguing. But it is in an opposition with Neptune as we come into this month. And that can create a little bit of shimmering disorientation. So just bear that in mind. But Venus, the planet of relating, has just nudged into your fourth house, where Uranus has been creating a lot of disruption the last 7 years. But what Venus can do, and later in the month, the Sun, is give you the opportunity to repair or heal something that hasn't quite been working so well. Now, it might just be your home. You could find yourself doing some redecoration, decluttering, moving things around, just getting things more settled and earthed in the way that Venus in Taurus, the sign it rules, really does appreciate. But I think those ideas, often very important to you because you are an air sign and a communicator, is what really is the heart of this month's message. But the ruler of third house energy, Mercury, retains its location in the sluggish, watery, and potentially enervating Pisces. But as much as ever since it entered there on February the 6th and has caused mischief with its retrograde, whether it's been about appointments, whether it's been about details, whether it's been about cash flow, it is now in a fantastic link with the planet of fortune, Jupiter, as we go into this month. And I think some better news can come your way around finance as the month goes on. Also, we have Mars, the planet of passion, which has really been giving you a lot of desire to improve your everyday finances, but perhaps also enjoy the good things in life. As that moves forwards at the start of this month, it comes into a fabulous sextile with the position of Uranus. If you do want to spend some money, it wouldn't be a surprise if it was adding some extra comfort to your home in a physical way. So that could be new furnishings. But also, we're going to see both Mars and Mercury arrive in Aries this month. First Mars on the 9th, the very day that Mercury comes out of its shadow, and then Mercury on the 15th. And things will speed up. But before then, on the 2nd, we have a full moon. But the full moon in your sister air sign of Libra. Libra energy is about balance, equilibrium, harmony, can be about relationships, can be about how we present things, but for you, it's in the ninth house. And the ninth house is about higher values and purpose. And it can be, I feel, also to do with the truth of a situation. And there may be some conversations early in this month where you may have to stand up quite passionately how you feel, but you will. Do know that. However, the arrival of Mars in Aries on the 9th is particularly important because it rules that sign, of course. So, because the Sun is in Aries, that's creating excitement, but Saturn, your traditional ruler, perhaps is also creating some slowing in a way that isn't necessarily what you want, and Neptune perhaps even a little bit of confusion. But once Mars gets beyond them, the pace is going to pick up. You're also going to feel much more active. But even when Mars does connect with Saturn, it's linking back to Pluto. So do know that if you've got ideas which are unique, different, fresh, or you just want to connect to people, your enthusiasm, your passion, and your drive are going to be very hard not to embrace, and that's truly exciting. Also, as Mercury moves out of Pisces into Aries on the 15th, that gives you a much greater nimbleness around your thinking. Again, it does meet the sluggish Neptune, the resistant Saturn, but it's just asking you to say what you mean and mean what you say. So in a way, although Aries energy can be a bit impetuous, wants to get things going, your energy is going to be moderated, but it can be a good thing because it can just slow things down a bit to make sure that things are unfolding at just the right pace. But you can still punch across your ideas with tremendous authority and conviction. Then on the 17th, there's a new moon, but it combines with Chiron. The third house can be about siblings. It can be about our immediate environment and our daily world. It can be about not feeling that we've been heard or our ideas recognized. And there could be some real healings for you in the month following that. You may just start to look at things in a different way. What we feel is often coming after what we think, and that's intriguing. But the Sun moves on the 20th into Taurus, but then on the 24th, Venus says au revoir, moving into Gemini, followed by Uranus on the 26th. And that combination is just so sparkling with possibility for you. Fifth house energy is very Leonian, but the light and nimble Gemini matches your air energy. It gives you a chance to really start to feel so much lighter. I think Uranus going through Taurus has been very challenging, particularly as when it first arrived in the middle of May 2018. It was in an enormous clash with Mars. Of course, it's clashed again with Mars recently, with Mars in Aquarius, and we've seen a lot of unstable events on the world stage. And that's being played out in many Aquarius people's lives. So I think a lighter and brighter, more vivacious and more social and more brilliant phase of your life is going to begin. But what you're going to have to do this month is understand, Aquarius, that your ideas, you have a right to express them and have the confidence to do that. And people will start to take more note of what you've got to say. And that in itself is very profound. I'm going to summarize those four areas for you, but just before I do, if you've yet to watch your Saturn 29-year cycle deep dive video, please see that on the screen. If you'd like to get your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning for your reflective pit stop, please see the link below. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please see my testimonials below. If you'd like to order your personal astrology based on this deeper analysis, There's 50% off my charts at the moment. Please apply Astro 26 or Draco 26 for the Soul Karmic versions at the checkout below. So to summarize, I feel this month, whether it is to do with money, work, energy, or relationships, is very much about your message. If you're very clear on what your beliefs are and you're very connected to them, and that passion is going to be animated in a very powerful way, and people can be really drawn to you. But also, I think your finances can improve because of Mercury going direct, the link to Jupiter, and Mars is linked to your modern ruler of Uranus. And I think when it comes to your professional situation, as Uranus moves at the end of the month into Gemini, whatever ideas you've got or whatever field you work in, you're just going to find the world is shifting to that Uranus in Gemini energy collectively, and you're just going to be perfectly poised to seize the moment in the next 7 years. It's been a pleasure being with you, Aquarius. All the best. Take care and goodbye.